Hello, welcome to the inaugural episode of Why I Love This Song. A little bit about what this is and why we're here. I'm a mostly self-taught piano player, and over the years I've used some of my favorite pop songs to learn about music theory and songwriting. One of the first music books I bought was the Celine Dion My Love collection. And if this experiment continues, you can be pretty sure we're going to analyze a lot of Celine Dion hits. I almost just made a podcast called the Celine Dion Masterclass. It's that good. But alas, I don't want to limit myself to just Celine. For now, this is just a way for me to organize and articulate my thoughts about pop songwriting, exploring how some of my favorite songs work and why they rock. What that means is I will mostly be analyzing melody and harmony, that is, the melody and how it is supported and enhanced by the chords. So I won't be talking much about the recording itself, the vocal performance, instrumentation, lyrical analysis, etc. We're focusing on the bare bone structure here, because I think that's the easiest thing to overlook as a casual listener. So let's start. I'm recording this just after Thanksgiving, so I think it is only appropriate to start with one of the most beloved pop songs and Christmas songs of all time, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. Yes, I can't think of a better place to start. The words and music to All I Want for Christmas Is You are credited to Mariah Carey and Walter Afanasieff. Apologies for probably butchering that. We are in the key of G major, common 4/4 time. If I had one word to describe the writing of this song, it would be elegant. Why do I think this song is so elegant? Well, the melody is mostly arpeggiated chords. An arpeggio is a chord that is played one note at a time. Think Coldplay's Clocks. Let's get into it. We are in G, so naturally we're going to start on a G chord. Now, if I play the opening melody, that is virtually the chord tones for a G major 7 chord. The following measure moves to a G over B, but the melody traces out the shape of a D major chord, the 5 or the dominant of the G major scale. We'll return to this, but for now, just know that the 5 chord is probably the second most important chord in the scale after the tonic 1. It has a special relationship to the tonic chord and usually appears before or after it in the song. Even though the harmony here is a G over B, it's interesting that a D chord is implied. Next, we're off to C major, virtually tracing the shape of a C major 7 chord. Now things get weird. So far, we have remained diatonic, meaning that we have stayed within the confines of the 7 notes that comprise the G major scale: G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. But Mariah loves her some chromatic songwriting. Chromatic, literally colorful, meaning she utilizes notes outside of the tonic scale. This is a fantastic way to build tension and tickle the listener's ear, often, and it's very true here, subconsciously. You feel the shift emotionally, even if you have no idea how music works. So what am I talking about? Well, after she moves through her C major 7 chord, she jumps straight into a C minor 7 chord. It's a very bold move. It's kind of audacious. It's very Mariah. It's almost the same as C major, but the 3rd and the 7th are both flat, a half step lower. This creates a lot of tension. But wait, there's more. We jump back to the tonic G chord, starting with G and working our way down. But instead of landing on D, the dominant of G, and itself a very satisfying harmonic relationship, we land on that flat E from the C minor 7 chord, here working more as a D sharp in the underlying B major chord. As an aside, I want to point out here how relative our emotional response to harmony can be. In Western music, we talk a lot about how major chords sound happy and relaxed, and minor chords sound sad and tense. But play a major chord that falls outside of the scale you're in, like this B major, and listen to how tense and uncertain that feels. A happy B major chord that isn't really sure of itself, kind of fitting for this song, right? So we then repeat the same descending melody, again landing on the D sharp or E flat, this time supported again by a C minor chord. Next, we are briefly back in our comfortable, hopeful G major world, rising up to a C, which is very strangely supported by an augmented E chord. An augmented chord is a major triad with a sharp 5. It's extremely jazzy, think Chicago. In fact, so much of this song is very jazzy, with its major and minor 7 chords. And that's partly why this song feels so darn Christmassy. There's a great Vox video, actually, about how this song fits nicely within the American Christmas songbook. But anyway, an augmented chord, as you can hear, is also very tense. Not only does our triad not include a perfect fifth, but since this is an E, we randomly have a sharp G. A G sharp in a G major song. What is this? We're approaching maximum tension here, folks. As Mariah tells us what she actually wants for Christmas, we descend down to an E before lingering on that pesky E flat again. But this time over a D chord. This is just wild. An E flat has no place in D major world. As I've alluded to earlier, D is the fifth or dominant of G, our tonic for this song. This interval is called a perfect fifth. Basically because whether you are in a major or minor key, this interval will not change. In terms of chords, the dominant is the one that contains a major scale's leading tone, the 7th note, that's only a half step away from the tonic 1. It resolves really nicely back into that 1 chord. This is the first time that the D dominant chord appears in All I Want for Christmas Is You, and it's very fitting, since by this point we really want to resolve nicely back to the 1. We have built up so much tension by this point we are going to explode, but as I just mentioned, the E flat hanging over the D major chord right now is just bonkers. The D and the E flat are a half step apart, and it's just way too close for comfort. Our ear desperately wants the melody to find a note that's within the D major family, D, F sharp, or A. Mercifully, we jump up to an A. Now, this jump from an E flat to an A is my personal favorite part of this song. Why? Well, an E flat to an A is a 6 semitone or 3 whole step jump, and that interval is called a tritone. Back in the day, a tritone was referred to as the devil's interval. It's that dissonant. Personally, I love this interval. It's the interval around which Danny Elfman's Simpsons theme is based. But it makes me laugh in this song because the devil's interval accompanies the most holy of lyrics, the word Christmas. Can't say this was done on purpose, but boy is it brilliant. Anyway, we jump to that A, the dominant of D, resolving that tritone and E flat over D major nonsense. We hang out on a B before, finally, mercifully, scrumptiously, falling back and landing on the tonic G over a tonic G major chord. And holy moly, what a journey that was. Whew, that's basically the construction of the whole song. A mighty elegant song that is as daring as it is deeply satisfying to listen to. The best storytelling builds tension subtly and then resolves it for you. An oral roller coaster. That's why I fucking love this song.